for reminding me. Let me just start
No
recording
worries.
now. Done with that, and sharing my screen in 3, 2, 1. I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yep.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Ash. And hi, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here today. Thank you so much for joining this session. As Ash has just mentioned, we are here from Salesforce, and we're here to tell you a little bit about Salesforce as an organization and our technology and some of the career opportunities that exist in the Salesforce ecosystem. So in a second, we'll just run through the agenda and introduce my colleagues, because I'm not here alone today. But before we did that, I did want to play just a quick video that I think highlights who we are as a company, and I hope will give you a good overview of who Salesforce are. So Ash, if you click onto the next slide and press play, and whilst this video is running, actually, it would be great if you could pop in the chat window if any of you have already heard of Salesforce before today. So just say yes if you've heard of Salesforce as this video is playing. But we'll come back in a couple of minutes.
Ideas. They're born when two separate things come together to form something new. Incredible, fun, even magical. And the results? Well, the results can change the world. Like this crazy idea 20 years ago. What if we brought together software and the internet, business and philanthropy, companies and customers? These ideas are why we're here today, as one powerful community. And yet our future is brighter than our past. Our dreams are bigger. Our impact stronger. Our potential limitless. Just imagine what we can bring together. Let's bring dreamers and doers together. Learners and leaders. Coders and closers. Trailhead and trailblazers. Astro, Cody, Cloudy, and Einstein. You and your future. Let's bring companies and customers together. How about the right message to the right person at the right time? Let's bring customer and 360 together. Salesforce and Tableau, AI and OMG. What about retailers and shoppers, hospitals and patients, insurance and reassurance, small business, big dreams? Let's bring trust, customer success, innovation, and equality together. Equal work and equal pay, shareholders and stakeholders, C-level and C-level. Doing well and doing good. Together, we can make the world a better place, because business is the greatest platform for change. We just need to let our ideas come together. Welcome to Dreamforce.
If you just switch to the, wonderful. Well, I'm very pleased that so many people actually had said yes to already hearing about Salesforce. So that's great. I know a lot of you have said no as well, and that's what we're here for. So over the next hour, we are going to introduce you to Salesforce and what Salesforce is all about, how we got to where we are today, a little bit about, customer relationship management tools, the Salesforce economy, and what careers look like in our ecosystem, and then how you can actually start learning some skills that are going to help you launch your careers in the ecosystem. And of course, as Ash said at the beginning, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your questions. So please pop questions in the chat window as we go through the presentation, but we will definitely make time at the end to answer those questions, and we'd love for some of you to come off mute and ask them in person. We'd love to hear your voices, so please make sure you ask us lots of questions. So we want to start with some introductions to let you know who we are. I will begin. So my name's Holly Suffield. I've been at Salesforce. I've actually just had my 7-year anniversary at Salesforce. This is pretty much my first job straight out of university. So I graduated university and came across Salesforce by accident, pretty much. For the first probably 5.5 years, I was in our sales organization. And about 1.5 years ago, I moved into the role that I'm in now, which is working very closely with the likes of Gulshan here and very important organizations to Salesforce, which are our Salesforce Partners, helping to grow the ecosystem by working really closely with university students and other career changers to try and inspire them to join the Salesforce ecosystem and pursue careers in Salesforce. And I'm joined by my colleague, Stuart, here. So Stuart, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Do the classic off mute. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Lovely to meet you and connect in this way, and hope everybody's safe and well today. So like Holly, I'm actually calling in from London, and I help run our Trailhead business for EMEA, which is a large, I realise, diverse community, including all of Africa, all the Middle East, and a bit of Europe. Great to connect with you. Long history. I've been at Salesforce for about 4 years, doing some work, professional services, and then 10 years before that was actually in the ecosystem, doing a number of jobs that we'll talk about when we go through there. You're going to hear loads from me, so I shall in a short while. But before I do that, let's hear from you, Gulshan, and finish us off.
Great, thanks, Stuart. Well, my name is Gulshan Balut. Currently managing director of a company called Simplicity. We're a Salesforce partner. We've been running for just about 5 years now, but my career always been Salesforce since my graduation. So again, discovered Salesforce by pure luck, and that actually changed my whole career. 13 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. But I've worked at Accenture before in consulting, done a lot of work at startups. Started from the beginnings of basic Salesforce administration up to the point of leading large transformation projects. So hopefully you'll get to know more about this later on.
Fantastic. Thank you. And hopefully, as Holly said, let's get loads of questions going. And apologies if we don't answer them as we go. Maybe we'll try and do a little bit of that. So we'll keep going. So we dive in. Should we obviously, the video that we did set a little bit of a tone as to what Salesforce is. And a load of you I know of Salesforce. And it's a pretty cool company, but what's it built on? You know, what are we doing? And we put this slide up often when we start. We talk about we're all moving forward. And the last 12 months, at least, in fact, almost 12 months, isn't it? I think for most people was when we all started with all the lockdowns rolling through various parts of the world, and dealing with the stress and strain of living in an environment that was very, very different. But we're always trying to think that we've learned some things, right? We've dealt with some real horrors over the last 12 months. And of course, all of us have over our lifetimes as well. But if we're continually moving forward, we achieve lots of things. So when we talk technology, what we think about when we're moving forward is steam power, you know, the basics of infrastructure and building, and then electricity in the 1800s, computing in the 1900s around the world. And today we're in a very connected place. And even in the most difficult parts of the world to get to, we've got mobile phones and mobile usage and increasingly smartphones in different places. And that's changing so much, isn't it? And it's changing so much of the world. What Salesforce is a company built on this connecting things together, connecting things through the internet, not having to rely on massive servers of data based in different things. But we're also based on a real core, which is the premise of connecting customers together. So we flick onto the next slide. What is this company that we're talking about here? So we are a customer relationship management company, which is the acronym CRM. I think we've reduced the acronym count by quite a lot in the preparation of this, Holly, haven't we? But we're looking at how do we connect all the different bits of technology that you might need to deal with a customer. Now, when it's a one-to-one relationship, if you're in a small environment, it can be easy to deal with that customer, getting to know them. You're just based on some bits of information, maybe a personal relationship. But with any scale, it gets quite complicated. And certainly in an environment like, I think Adidas was mentioned in the video there, a great client of ours where you've got people shopping online, buying shoes quickly, that customer relationship has taken over from a store visit. And that data is important because it helps us understand the customer, understand each other. There's great responsibility in the data that's required for this. But the key part of this is just connecting together information around customers. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like. I think for the matter of time, we might skip this little video, but we'll give you the link of it, which really talks about CRM and dots of connections. So we skip on, I think, for the sake of giving us a bit more. Oh, look at that. It's so automatic. Doesn't work when we do this, Holly, actually, does it, when we do this? So the key thing was we talk about always being connected. I've used Adidas as an example. Always connected. On here, you can see a slide of a machine from ABB, a robot. What's that data doing? What's we connecting? The Porsche vehicles. You've got Ben and Jerry's ice cream. How do they know and understand what flavors people want? It's a great sort of story out of that. There's pictures of Marriott staff. Metallica down in the bottom right here is a band that we work with a lot. I don't know if anybody knows Metallica, but our CEO is pretty well connected. Gosh, you know them. Yeah, but a bit of a rocker I'm spotting in there actually. So, how do they work with fans? How do they connect with them? How do you understand fans? In fact, they're doing some quite sophisticated things with that data and information. If we flick on a slide again, we can sort of maybe use a few examples of this. Amazon, been a lifeblood of virtual shopping in many different parts of the world, and all sorts of organizations now embracing how do we get vital goods to different places. They're using technology in all sorts of different ways. And that example that we've got there, we've got a little bit of voice. So this is being able to speak into your phone, ask for things, search for things. Behind that is a set of technology and bots and little robots that are listening in and deciding what to do next to advise things. And all of this is helping people get better service. And if you like, the idea of that one for me is getting to a person quickly. If anybody's got bad experiences of trying to get help, so bots are sort of trying to help synthesize. With something like Starbucks, you've got an organization that's providing a service, but where are all of these organizations? Any of you living in a city will have organizations like this where you've got multiple different branches, and how can you do various different things. And the final one is Bonvoy, which is Marriott, so a big hotel chain based in all sorts of parts of the world, moving to an environment where regardless, and I before this year was traveling an awful lot, and you'd end up going into a place, it can feel very different and slightly scary, and sometimes you only got a day to be in place. So these sorts of applications are helping you to sort of visit through them. So increasingly we're expecting, and we're helping people expect seamless experiences. And I suppose one of the contexts that might be relevant in the context of what you're learning and what you're studying with ALU and community is the sense that actually these experiences can feel foreign and distant. The idea of a Marriott might be a very expensive hotel. It's like, why is that relevant, that experience, to me working in a completely different industry? Why is even Starbucks a brand name that you should care about? What are they doing? Amazon, I think, has proven that actually the experience of shopping can transform and change using technology really well. And we're looking for people who've got brilliant ideas that might be much more micro scale than these examples we've pulled up, but can connect the dots together. And we've got some really interesting entrepreneurial examples of small businesses that are just connecting and doing some amazing things. So let me keep pushing on as we go. And if there's a question. No. Okay, so we'll talk a lot about this, and gosh, I don't know if you're going to go to any of the specifics in your work, but we might do. And we might hear lots of different words. So when we think about connecting customers, we talk about words like selling to them, sales, connections, and that can have a lot of different technologies. Servicing, I've used a couple of examples. Marketing, sending emails, dealing with texts. Instagram, if you're using and seen anything on Instagram, some of that is driven through marketing cloud. If you're buying anything, commerce, are we engaging? The examples that I've talked about of entrepreneurs are often building things in our engagement layer, which is a technology called Heroku, which is building little applications you can build really quickly. Some incredible hackathons that we see that are happening. Platform and all sorts of bits around this puzzle in terms of enabling workforce. And we're thinking about a customer 360, connecting all of the data together. So what does this do, and who are the kind of companies that are using this technology? Because I think if you're thinking of employment and opportunities, let's talk about some companies. And so if we push on another one. So brands you might know, Standard Bank is looking about how to transform banking across Africa to become a platform business, which is really enabling businesses all over the continent to have the technology at their fingertips to be able to do commerce, to run a business really easily. Safaricom, and all the incredible work they do around mobile and telephony and so on. And then you've got some names that I've mentioned all the way through for some big brand names that I'm aware of. Coca-Cola pretty much everywhere in the world, isn't it? Some really interesting case studies from that. So all of these organizations are adding up to something which we call the Salesforce economy. And we're looking to how we power this. And we dropped some numbers globally on here. But the key point to take up this side, and then we'll talk about sort of Africa particularly at this stage. So all of this work that we've talked about so far is adding up to businesses and customers that we've just talked about needing people who understand the technology, whether they use it, whether they help build it, or whether they help administer it. And all of those jobs are adding up to about 4.2 million in the next few years that we think go around the world. So jobs, revenue of those businesses. We're helping people build skills. So some of the new digital skills, and I know that the learning you're doing covers a lot of digital skills. These are really important things. And Trailhead, the business that I run for Europe, is really important in that puzzle. And there's lots of people involved in this. So it's an amazing community. Within Africa at the moment, we've got 5.2 thousand new jobs. We're thinking business revenues of around $2 billion, 500 customers that we've got at the moment, and 45 different partners, of which Gulshan is one of the most important, particularly because he's here. So some big numbers on there, but I'm hoping that that's brought to life a little bit of the scale of the opportunity. Holly, maybe I can get you to pick up in terms of the jobs that people can do, and Gulshan and I might talk about a few of the things that we've done over the years as you do that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Gulshan's probably going to go into this in a bit more detail when he speaks about Salesforce roles specifically at Simplicity, his company. But, I think it's important to call out that there's multiple different career paths that you can go down within the Salesforce ecosystem. And I should say, we keep mentioning this thing called the ecosystem. And really what I mean by that is any organization, of which there's thousands, that are using or selling or innovating using Salesforce technology, right? So that could be all of the customers that Stuart just mentioned on the previous slide that are using Salesforce to power their businesses, as well as partners like Gulshan and Simplicity, who are providing services around Salesforce technology. So we keep talking about the ecosystem, and it's huge. The Salesforce ecosystem. And as Stuart just mentioned, it's only getting bigger. And there's more and more need for Salesforce skills and general kind of technology, but also business skills, So you could be forgiven for thinking that as a technology company, we're only looking for people that have got coding skills or are really interested in tech. But that's not actually the case. We have lots of organizations that are looking for people that are going to go into sales, for example, and be sales managers. Or if you're interested in marketing, if you're better at storytelling and you're a bit more creative, maybe a marketing career path is what you would like to go down. And there's roles in the Salesforce ecosystem for that, as well as the traditional, more technical roles, such as Salesforce developer, if you're into coding and things like that. Stuart, I don't know whether you wanted to touch on this on your journey at all. I know you've got an interesting, what you studied at university is pretty impressive. So,
well, yeah, let me do the quick version, and then also, if you're going to use some examples, that's probably an easy place to do. It's sort of, so for me, I'm an engineer, aeronautical engineer. Actually started my schooling in Kenya, in Nairobi. Didn't know I was going to be an engineer there, except my dad was an engineer and he was building roads and water infrastructure. So maybe there was a signal to that. So my mother doesn't like that. Anyway, sorry, that's another topic. Started as an engineer and spent many years doing all sorts of different things. And then about 14 years ago, started doing some strategy work and ended up in sales and marketing. So I was down the bottom right, started as a sort of sales manager, and then started looking at sort of managing sales operations, and very much a businessman, I guess, and from that perspective. And now I'm a Salesforce administrator as well. I've qualified myself, and I've been an administrator of a system for a number of years. Haven't quite got myself round doing development skills, as my elder son will tell you. Coding doesn't seem to fit with my head. But I've been a consultant for a while as well. And these are really interesting roles as sort of business leadership, is sales management, administration often is in a business helping people manage a system, and consulting, which Gulson will go to great depth, is really helping organizations become different, become enabled by what we've been talking about so far. And each one of these had a path. You know, you could start with wherever you are. We really believe, and we've got tons of examples we can share over times of people starting in a place where you've got no experience of technology at all, and ending up in a place of being an architect. There's some great stories that that we could talk about in those, but all sorts of different roles. Hopefully that's helped bring to life a little bit.
Awesome. Ash, if you just click on to the next slide. So I've just mentioned Salesforce Partners, and you know, and Stuart touched on the ecosystem and the growth of the ecosystem, and you know, the fact that we're looking at 4.2 million new jobs being created by 2024. So just in a matter of a few years, and this is across the globe. And certainly one of our biggest players in the ecosystem is our consulting partners. And these are companies that are super important to Salesforce and really critical for our success and our customers' success, because these are companies that are working with us to implement and support our customers on their journey with Salesforce. So typically customers, let's choose Coca-Cola, for example, would buy Salesforce licenses and then would work with a partner like Simplicity to actually look at how they're going to use Salesforce to improve their business. And Simplicity would give them advice and guidance and best practice on how they do that. And help them transform their business using Salesforce technology. So these organizations are critical to what we do at Salesforce and our success. And so I'm very pleased that Gulshan is joining us today and is on the call, because he is absolutely the expert in this area. And so I wanted to now hand it over to Gulshan to tell us a bit about Simplicity and his organization and typical roles at his organization, and a bit about his journey as well. So Gulshan, over to you. You're on mute.
Famous words of 2020, unmute yourself. Yes, I mean, great stories. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks, Holly. And thanks for having me on this session. And thanks to ALU team to give me the opportunity to share my story as well. Maybe if we flick to the next couple of slides. I just want to talk to you about Simplicity, so who we are. So we are a Salesforce consulting partner. As I said, we've been around for 5 years, close to 5 years now. Our mission is essentially, as Stuart and Holly mentioned earlier, it's about providing the best customer experience and providing revenue success to our clients. This is essentially what we try to do. I mean, as we all say, I mean, a business needs to make money, needs to be successful. So we help those customers do that and help their customers get the best experience. So we are based in London as a headquarter, but we also have a delivery center, what we call our excellence center in Mauritius, where we have most of our certified team members down there. one of the key thing that we do is, maybe I'll tell you more about this in a bit, is what we call the lead to cash. I think one of these key diagram that Stuart talked about earlier about the kind of the whole 360 overview. So it all starts from, getting the client, processing that client through a platform. So the client is getting the right messaging, the right feedback, and hopefully, and also the salesperson from the client side, from the company side, is actually providing what they need to the customer so that we can sell easier. So the whole process is called lead to cash, and this is what we actually specialize in. We've been part of Salesforce Title Alliance, so thanks to Holly as well for allowing us to be part of this great community. And we want to share our knowledge, we want to recruit and then also empower the best talent. A couple of clients that we've worked with, as you can see, we've covered a variety of clients through the number of years. We started Simplicity, so from fintech to financial services. We also do a lot of non-profit projects. A lot of them are pro bono. We do have some of them who are paying clients, but essentially, I think when I started Simplicity, I think the whole thing was about helping clients, and for me, it was helping a lot of charity clients. From when I moved from a company I used to work for, Accenture, and this is how Simplicity started. Again, we can talk to you about more in details about each of the specific clients and the type of work we do. But let me give you a bit of story about how Simplicity started, right? So when I left Accenture after a couple of years working down there, I felt a bit tired. But the really key thing that stuck with me was helping charities. I think I was quite lucky to get involved into charity work during my last 2 years of Accenture. And I felt really really empowered helping other people. So this is how it started. I mean, when I took a sabbatical from Accenture, I did gave all my time away to charities. At the end, I ran out of my own money, so I had to do something. So, which basically, when I left Accenture, I had to start the contracting gigs, which turned out to be Simplicity. And then 5 years down, we're still doing the same thing. And you can see a couple of pictures on this slide here. We did quite a large event with Porsche in Mauritius in 2018, I think it was. You can see the person sitting one of the Porsche is actually the director of marketing for a Maritime Hotel. Quite a big event, and again, I think maybe haven't said that to anyone, but Salesforce came with us as well, and Oshis sponsored this event, so it was quite a great turnout. You'll probably see our people also in the corner down there. These are our people, our team members in Mauritius. They are sitting by the beach, coding by the beach. This is what we do pretty much every couple of weeks. Unfortunately, there's lockdown in Mauritius, but our team members are actually quite lucky to be in Mauritius and working from there. We essentially, what we want to achieve as a company is to provide not only technical expertise, but also the business expertise. Again, and there's a very fine line between technical and business now, and they all combine. You need to understand how to solve a problem, and then use your technical skills to solve your problem. So this is where we are and what we're trying to do, and we want to grow our organization with more people who are problem solvers. So I said earlier, the whole lead to cash. Reiterating what Stuart said earlier. Now, what we do at Simplicity, again, is we have a specialty. So we specialize in a couple of clouds. One of them is Sales Cloud, which is the most common clouds in Salesforce. This is how Salesforce started. It was called Salesforce before, and then suddenly it turned into Sales Cloud, Service Clouds, and all these different verticals of clouds. Hard to keep up these days, but great products and great platform. So Sales Cloud essentially is this initial point of contact. So your CRM, how you manage your customers, how you manage your opportunities, your pipeline is essentially in Sales Cloud. And how do you service these customers is Service Cloud. So we do implement a lot of Service Cloud in our clients. We have a couple of large clients with contact centers of 400, 500 contact agents. So we help them service the customers better. You've probably heard about CPQ, which is the abbreviation for Configure, Price, and Quote. This is a platform that allows salespeople to create quotes much quicker, create contracts much quicker, so you can service your client more effectively, and you can have that more automated experience for what we call kind of low-touch clients, to clients that doesn't need to be fully involved with sales reps. So CPQ helps accelerate that process. Then we have the community cloud. Again, if you want to kind of join the dots, you want to create the whole seamless experience for your customers or your partners. So community clouds is that experience platform that allows you to process from the first interaction, the first moment you talk to your customers or your prospect customers, down to fulfilling their needs and providing the right advice or providing the right products. And Pardot is probably one of my, actually is the most exciting piece for me, because I'm a big fan of marketing automation. So Pardot essentially is the platform what we use for B2B marketing. So anyone who's interested into Pardot or the marketing side of it, doesn't matter on the technical or the functional side or the business side, this is a great place to start. It's really cool. It allows you to do marketing at scale, but also very personalized. So now all these things forms part of what we have created as an accelerator, as our own asset at Simplicity, which we call the lead to cash. So again, in the minute you get your clients to you build your clients and helping them, helping your clients come back to you, so increasing your retention. So these are the key skills that we do and we have in-house at Simplicity. So if we go to the next slide. So again, I think probably what you're most interested in is my own journey. I have quite an unusual career path. I'm sure Stuart and Holly have similar, which they're hiding from us. But I was born in Mauritius myself, grew up in Mauritius. Funny enough, I was a DJ back in my days in Mauritius. I had my own radio show. I'm sure you heard of a radio company called Top FM. So I used to have my own show down there. That was very young days. Mauritius was still kind of picking up in terms of the whole media. But then I moved to London, graduated from a university called Middlesex. That was before Middlesex University also appeared in Mauritius. But the first thing that what happened for me was, well, guy from Mauritius comes to London, practically no money, needs a job now because he needs to pay back the university fees. So I got myself a temp job, and it was very, very low paid temp job, but I had to take it. It was at the startup called Trailhead at that time. Now, this is the time where, I mean, I had a degree. The VP of sales at that time said to me, well, Gulshan, you seem to have a bit of technical skills. So I'll give you 2 weeks to learn Salesforce. If you manage to learn that, I'll give you a job. And I had to Google the hell out of everything. So I spent weeks or days and nights just Googling out Salesforce. And I managed to self-learn Salesforce literally in a couple of days, actually, just using the help that existed. Now you guys and girls have the whole Trailheads that allows you to even speed up your learning. So I think you have more facilities at the moment to really speed up that skill set and learning. But in my days, we had to pick up Google and help articles from Salesforce, which also is still valuable to me, even as of now. So moving on, once I've learned the whole skill set, so I became the company's first Salesforce administrator, and managed to get myself my first certification, which was at that time called ADM 201, which is Salesforce Administrator. It's not that difficult to get. You just need enough practice on the environment, understand a bit of the business side, but really great skills you learn from it. Now, I mean, my path from then was I wanted not to be only technical. I wanted to be more functional as well. So probably 30% technical, and the rest I want to be functional. I want to focus on business side and business processes. So I became a business analyst. So again, through the career, through the things I've learned as a Salesforce admin, I've used those skills and the business process I've learned as well, applied that to Groupon, where I've joined them as they were starting up. Groupon actually took over Salesforce at that time, or becoming the world's fastest growing company during that time. Funny enough, I met Mark Benioff during my first Dreamforce in 2012. That was a great turning point for me. It was Dreamforce, as you know, is one of the biggest events in the world, and especially in the IT sector. I think when I went there was 90,000 people joining, a great community of people, so much learning, impact in 4 days. So that was a great experience. Now, I was a bit confused at that time in terms of, okay, what do I do now? I need to step up. Salesforce actually were growing quite big as well, so I've decided to change slightly and join more of the consulting sector. So joined Accenture so as a consultant. So then it was great, and it was a great opportunity. So I've seen everything from the business user side, from the company side, but now I can see it from the consulting side. So now I can apply all this learning to actually tell other customers how they should manage Salesforce, how they need to run the business, how they need to tweak the processes. So at the end, what I did become was a solution architect, because there was the whole experience spread over close to 12 years. Now, solution architect, it means is that you have a lot of knowledge around the system, around business, around processes, and around Salesforce technologies and the new technologies that Salesforce has. So, and how do you apply that to your clients, to the business? How do you solve their problem? So, became a delivery lead. So that means I manage large projects as much as also be a specialist in Salesforce. 2016, this is the time where I decided to say, okay, it was time for me to start. I mean, as I said, I started my career just helping out charities, and then we had to I literally had to form a company to help those charities, and then that basically turned out to be Simplicity, which we founded in 2016, became a Salesforce partner, and I'm still speaking with you today. The logo hasn't changed. It was so busy. We have clients over clients. We are very grateful to be part of this community and helping other people, both on the business side and also on the community side. So if we go to, now I'm sure you have questions around my career. So my career spread over 13 years. So I've pretty much touched every single part of roles that you can see on that screen here. So, but in Salesforce, I'm sorry, in Simplicity, how we structured is we have a delivery lead at the top. Delivery lead, basically, those are the role. This is the role of a project manager / an architect. So someone who's got that skill to manage projects as much as managing the delivery of the solution for the client. And then that split below delivery lead, will have a solution architect and technical architect. The solution architect is someone similar to me. It's just quite strange in my role, because I tend to do pretty much everything. The solution architect is the one who's handling the solution itself, so designing the right solution for the client, and the technical architect will use those kind of the high-level business solution that they want to create and turn that into technical workings, and then get that delivered through our developers. So the developers are the ones who are coding, who are the people who likes to kind of break things and create new things through code. So those are developers. And on the solution side, we have business analysts and administrators. Not necessarily they purely Salesforce. They could be only process oriented as well. But everyone we hire definitely needs to have some sort of Salesforce exposure to really understand what the client needs, and ability to translate that to your administrators, your developers. So because this is where we see a lot of gaps normally, where the customer wants something and then you understand something else. By the time you pass it to your developers, they completely build something new, which is not expected. So you need those kind of in-between people. In most cases, the business analyst and the solution architect handles those kind of in-between conversations. This is how we work at Simplicity. And again, what I wanted to also share with you is Simplicity, or being part of the Salesforce community and Salesforce partnership, is not only about business. We also want to be fully responsible and share our profits to the community. We do that through giving away pro bono days for charities, both in the UK and Mauritius. We've helped out communities, local communities, And recently, as you probably heard in Mauritius, I think close to a couple of months ago, where we had a ship tank, an oil tank in Mauritius, nearly kind of stuck with thousands and thousands of tons of fuel spread around the ecosystem of Mauritius on the seas. We've helped a lot immediately, got our team on the ground and helped out physically. So this is who we are and what we always want to do. And the people we recruit and down to our training, we need to have this empathy. We need to be helping others, not only business but also other people in the network. And which is one of the reasons speaking to you people today is I want to share my story. I want to share my experience, and hopefully you can use that to make yourself more successful and hopefully help other people. Before, I'm sure Holly will give you more details around how you can onboard on Salesforce and get trained on Salesforce early as possible. At Simplicity, we do have internship programs. We are helping people become developers or administrators. As a starting point, again, the more you do, the more experience you have, you will become a consultant, and then hopefully you'll get to work on our kind of larger projects. But what's essentially our internship programs involve is a mix of shadowing our consultants and self-learning. So we'll provide you all our learnings. We have our own knowledge base, but you also have to put the effort in by self-learning. And now we'll provide you someone to work with. You'll be working on internal projects as much as pro bono, and you get to apply project methodologies which we've built unique to ourselves, and apply that to projects. So the tasks or the activities can vary from sitting in a meeting, taking requirements, up to the point of configuring the platform itself. Now, the people we try to onboard are essentially people who are really keen learners, ability to talk, ability to share their opinions. Because bear in mind, even though I've got 13 years experience in sales, I'm learning every day. 90% of Simplicity's resources actually never heard about Simplicity before. Everyone got trained from scratch, and we have some rock stars. You probably see Hanusha on this picture here. She's more in tune for the marketing, working with Pardot, and basically never heard about Salesforce 2 years ago, and now she's heading our marketing team in Mauritius. So again, you don't need to have a degree to learn Salesforce. Again, you don't need special military skills to learn it. What you need is the motivation and the ability to take on new things. And hopefully Simplicity is a right platform, right company for you as well. So if you want to get more details, you can contact us on info@ and our website. Now, for those people, as I said, I really like to work with Pardot, and this is some work that one of the consultants did. They've created an application on iStore, so App Store, apologies. They've created something where you can actually get trained up and practice for your exams on Pardot certification. So if you want to have a voucher or access to this app, please let us know, and we'll provide that to you. Again, this was done by one of our top consultants who basically learned Salesforce within a year and a half and built an application because he's just passed his exam on Pardot, and then just built that to share his knowledge. So yeah, this is hopefully what you've learned today was quite helpful, and hopefully you can apply that to your own careers and your own learnings. Now, if you feel you need to reach out to us at any point, you can add me on LinkedIn or contact us through our website. I really hope I didn't burn too much of time and didn't talk too much, but hopefully it was interesting for you.
That was great. Thank you, Gulshan. And I'm really pleased that you had that slide to show all the great work that you've done to give back, because I think that's also a very important part of Salesforce and our community that we've probably overlooked here, in that, we are all about giving back to the community. And that video at the beginning said about doing well and doing good. And so, Salesforce, one of the founding companies, the 1-1-1 model, which is where we're really encouraging, and we do this ourselves, but we're encouraging all of the organizations that we work with to give 1% of their products, 1% of their time, and 1% of their resources back to their communities, and to support charities and organizations that are helping change the world. So thank you for highlighting that.
Pleasure.
Gulshan. Ash, if you could just bring the slides back up. I wanted to then move into, so now we've talked a little bit about who Salesforce are and what the technology looks like. Gulshan's done a great job of talking about, you know, his business and how he works with Salesforce and some of the Salesforce roles that are available at his company, but also, you know, that applies to lots of organizations that use Salesforce as well. So what can you do now to start learning some of these skills that are really going to put you in a great place to, you know, be interesting to employers and to try and learn, try and land Salesforce roles? So we have a program called Trailhead, which Stuart leads for all of Europe, as he's already mentioned. And this is a free online learning platform. So any of you today can go and sign up to a Trailhead account. The Trailhead website is at the bottom there, trailhead.salesforce.com. And there are tons, hundreds of courses that you can take. We call them trails or modules, and for a very wide range of subjects. So there are Salesforce specific trails or modules that you can do if you're interested in learning Salesforce specific skills, like how to become a Salesforce developer or a consultant, or I know some of you in the chat were asking about analysts and admins. So there's lots of different courses that will help you learn those types of skills. But we also have other modules that talk about business skills more generally, right? So if you're into, again, if you're into marketing, if you're into sales, or you want to understand how project management works and how to become a great project manager and how to do agile teaming and things like this, presentation skills. So I encourage you all to go and sign up to Trailhead and start learning. The point of this platform is that it's meant to be fun and engaging for you to use. So it's gamified, you earn points and you earn badges as you complete modules and trails as you go through as well. And we have an awesome part of this platform called Super Badges. And this is where you get to get hands-on with our technology. So you actually get to use Salesforce technology in a Trailhead playground, we call it. So it's a bit of a sandbox of the Salesforce technology, and you'll get to carry out real world assignments and actually build them in Salesforce technology. So great opportunity if you get your hands on the tech and understand a bit more about what Salesforce is about. And then the last thing I wanted to tell you about is we are very excited to announce that we are launching a Salesforce course that is free for any of you to sign up. So if you've been inspired and excited about some of the things that you've heard today, this is an amazing course for you to sign up and join, really to start to deepen your understanding of Salesforce and again, start to learn some of those key skills that Gulshan and Stuart have touched on. So it's called Salesforce Fundamentals. It's starting on the 22nd of April. It is a 12-week online learning journey. Again, it's totally free, so you can all join. And each week there is around 2 hours of self-guided learning. So we will almost set you tasks each week. These will be trails on Trailhead for you to complete in your own time and at your own pace. And then 1 hour of live teaching from a Salesforce professional each week as well. So again, you'll get an introduction again to Salesforce in a bit more depth. You'll learn a bit more about the Salesforce community, about our values as a company, about the technology. And then you'll also get hands-on and learn some real Salesforce skills, as well as being introduced to other partners and Salesforce customers and how they work with Salesforce. So there is a specific link for ALU students to sign up. It's at the bottom of the screen here. sfdc.co/ALU in capitals, fun. Should be easy to remember. I will pop it in the chat window as well. But I hope to see a lot of you sign up to this program, and excited for you to continue your journey with Salesforce. So with that, I think we're going to open it up to questions, and I've seen lots of good questions come through in the chat. So thank you for your questions. Stuart and Gulshan, I don't know whether you've seen any questions that you wanted to address first whilst I look through.
Quite some questions in there. Interesting one. To get a job opportunity at Salesforce, is it only through Trailhead's course, or can you have digital skills elsewhere? I think that's for you guys to answer.
Shall I give that a stab to start with? Yeah, there's some good questions in there, so thank you. The Trailhead, we give this platform for free because we do actually sort of look at people's putting the effort in, basically, to look at and learn a lot about the technology that we're talking about. So in this case, and really, I almost say that, well, why not would be my question around this. You get quite specific, as any of you know, if you put together CVs and job applications and things like that, the more you can be specific, and the easier an employer will find the journey to their specific job. Now, having said that, actually, if I could look at something like development and a developer role, there's a huge amount of learning, and most developers are the type of people who just love kind of consuming different ways of doing stuff and thinking about different things. And actually a natural fixers, I'd say, because we've got a video saying that we shouldn't say break things, but generally people who like development like to break things and then fix them. So if you're that kind of, then you actually, coding languages, all sorts of different things are all valuable. And the thing I'd say there is that that's a skills question. One of the things that I focus on a lot, actually, Holly, you and I focus on a lot, don't we, is thinking about all of your experience, your life experience is important when you're applying for a role. So you may be your first job that you're looking to do. You'll have done things as part of your education now, as part of your life, that are about leading things or being a team member of something. Those softer skills are actually the things that often differentiate people. We spend quite a lot of time talking the technical skills, and the reason we give you a free platform for those technical skills is it's accessible to everybody, because we believe those aren't necessarily the differential. I think, Gulshan, you said that you can get an admin qualification, a certification, which is recognized all over. I saw another question on, are these standards? There's the same standard. If you learn how to be an admin and get a certification, regardless of whether you're whichever country you're currently in or might be in the future, it's the same qualification, which I know is a difficult one, right, globally, when you look at different degrees. But your experience is something that I would love to see shine. So if I ever see any of your CVs, I want you to celebrate your background, your experience, because that's the kind of thing that will make you stand out. I'm sure we can go to depth. There's lots of stuff. Holly, I don't know if you'd add anything to that one.
No, I think you've covered it. And I would just kind of reiterate your point, right? We've got lots of partners and customers, as you've seen on those slides, even in Africa, over 5,000 jobs likely to be created over the next few years. So we've got partners and customers that need people to join their organizations, and they are not always looking just for people with Salesforce experience or even Salesforce skills. They're looking at your general skills, the things that you've learned at university and things. So, and your life skills, your background and everything. So absolutely, what I would say is it puts you in a really good place if you can show to a prospective Salesforce employer that you've taken the initiative to start learning Salesforce yourself. So given that Trailhead is free for you to use, to Stuart's point, why not? Go through some courses, enhance your knowledge on Salesforce so that you can really shine in interviews. And it's also great to put on your CVs as well.
Absolutely. I think something I'll add to this is, again, education is free, right? For me, my university was actually called Google, and I had to learn everything from scratch. So again, you can pick up any skills you want. And for those who are transferring from a career to the next one, to be honest, Salesforce is one of the hottest skills in the world, easy to pick up. The thing is, you just need to understand problem solving. Salesforce is a great platform to solve that problem for your clients or for wherever you're working. And funny enough, I've got my own, what we call, Salesforce provides something called Salesforce Dev Environment, which is your free environment you can play with. And part of your Trailheads, you can get to own one of them for lifetime. I've actually used mine to connect that with my credit cards and stuff, so I can monitor my expenses. So this is how much of a geek I am. So I use my own sales for my own life. So if my partner is actually spending more money than she used to, I get a notification. So again, this is how passionate I was, I still am, on Salesforce, because it's so easy to build processes, so easy to solve problems. You need to have that critical mindset. Doesn't matter from what type of background, what career you have. It's just about having that mindset of problem solving.
Does anybody want to come off mute and ask a question in person?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for this program. Can you hear me though? Sorry.
We can, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I've been very excited about Salesforce for a while now. So I'm so glad that ALU has been able to partner with you guys. I've been on the Trailhead for like 3 months now, and it's been great so far. And like you said, I think it can be easy if you're very analytical about it and you want to be a problem solver. And it's so easy. Like they just tell you everything to do on the Trailhead, and you just have to follow along. So my question is to Simplicity. Goes on. So I think also it could be for Salesforce, since you guys deal with customers a lot. I'm actually very interested in customer success. It's been my field for a while now. And my question is, how do you keep up with customer shifting flows? Because a customer migrate a customer and his or her company migrates and grows. So their choices may change from time to time. So how do you guys keep up with that?
Excellent. I deal with that pretty much every day. That's an excellent question. So especially you've probably seen in the last 12 months, because of the pandemic, people had to change completely. The whole business landscape is changing. So the thing is, I've seen a lot of the clients where they had Salesforce as a platform, right? Because Salesforce, again, was the first, is still the first cloud computing environment, cloud computing CRM in the world, which means you can actually scale very quickly because it's not less of coding, it's more point and click. So rather than having to spend days and days to change the process by coding, you just drag and drop, right? And the system allows you to scale because if the business process changes, the customer, instead of having a 5 steps process to serve a customer, now it's reduced to 2 steps. It's just a matter of deactivating a couple of processes in the system, right? So, or you make a copy of and change it. So something maybe when you get to learn more about the Trailheads, there's process builders or flows. Again, it's nothing to do with coding, which is amazing because you can actually build applications within days and launch it. So this platform itself is actually future-proof. And the more Salesforce can actually acquiring more and more organizations, is making it even easier for businesses to connect the dots, right? It doesn't matter if you have an old system or a new system. Put the Salesforce platform in the middle of it. You use platforms like MuleSoft, for example, where you can actually connect the pieces. So however, if this business is growing really quick and can't cope with that much of changes, and especially they need to think about changing the whole system or IT strategy and having a system that can scale with them. Now, if they have Salesforce, I think they're probably more future-proof. And a lot of customers that we work with actually are knocking on our doors and says, "Okay, Gulshan, right? Last year you told me about to change system, but now because of the pandemic, we have no choice. So what can we do?" So we always have to find quickest ways to change that. So it's also not only working on the technology platform, but also on the business side. All right, what can we do with that in that period of time to at least give that success to the customer? And you have to also manage the expectation because you can't really promise the whole world because it takes both parties to make it work, both the customer and the partner, Simplicity in this example, to really make it work. Hopefully that answers your question.
Awesome. Thank you for your question. And thank you for all of your questions. They've been great. And I'm sorry if we haven't managed to get to all of them today. I will pop my email address in the chat window, so feel free to email me if you've got any questions that you didn't get answered today. Thank you everyone for joining. I know we're a minute over, and I'm sure you've got things to be doing in your evening. What I will say is I think ALU, Ash, is going to be sending out a survey after this session today. We would love for you to fill out that survey and let us know whether you are interested in hearing more and learning more about Salesforce. And if you're interested in possible Salesforce internships at Salesforce employers as well. So please do take the time to fill out that survey, and we hope that we can come again and speak to you again. Stuart, Gulshan, anything you want to say as we wrap up?
I'm grateful to meet you all today. Again, you have our details. You have the deck to reach out to us if you have any questions, or reach out to Holly. But I'm very pleased that I'm part of this network, as I've born in Mauritius, born in the South African continent side. I really wanted to give my skills back to the place where I have kind of quite strong roots. So I'm really grateful for you guys to invite me to this platform.
Brilliant. And Gulshan, thanks so much, and thanks for having us, everybody. It's great to see. There was a lot of people there, and as Holly says, hopefully we'll get the questions came up through that. Been brilliant to be part of it. As you can tell, the three of us love talking about this topic, so it's energetic. And I'd actually just finish maybe with Gulshan's slide on giving back. One of the things, and Holly talks about it, is business being a great platform for change. We really think that if you can find good work and get paid well for it, and then you can then give a little bit of that back into causes that you're passionate about, things that you've moved forward. That's part of the culture that we have as this organization, and is something very different. It certainly kept me interested over the years in something, and I would just encourage you to think about that as you go into your careers. Don't forget those things that you could give back to as you go forward. So Ash, thank you so much for having us and gathering so many people together. Hopefully we've inspired a few.
Yes, thank you so much, Stuart, Gulshan, and Holly. It's been great. We're excited for where this can lead us as an institution, as an organization, and all our students. Thank you all, everyone who's attended. It's been great to seeing the chat filled with questions, filled with comments. I see really interesting comments, questions. It's always good to hear from our students, even and see them interact with employers. And again, thank you so much, Gulshan, Stuart, and Holly. I hope that, oh wow, Stuart, that's cool. I hope that you receive a lot of engagement from our students. I just want to end with highlighting again, I shared a form to let us have your feedback, and also register your interest for communication from Salesforce. So if you want to be contacted by Salesforce, please just select yes as where it asks you to share or give your consent, basically. But that's about it. Thank you so much. Good evening, I think, for most of us. And you'll hear from me in an email with the recording and the form again. And Gulshan, Holly, and Stuart, I think you will hear from Excel and I about the next steps for us and as an organization. Thank you so much. You are all free to leave. Thank you again, and have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.